Yeah.
And just
Okay.
if I can request everyone to be on mute, we're hearing a lot of background noise. So then that way we can all hear the speaker. Thank you, Isha. Go ahead.
Thank you, Aditi. So without any further delay, let me introduce to our wonderful speaker, Mrs. Sumiti Kapoor. So Sumiti is a founder of a spiritual and holistic living endeavor by the name of Life Spirit Soul. Life Spirit Soul, as the name suggests, focuses on holistic living to help everyone in finding their life purpose, evolution of their soul by serving the humanity, providing those providing them the scaling tools for merging into oneness with the spirit. Sumiti likes to be called as a light worker who tries to live in the heart while trying to figure out her greater purpose in this journey called life. Here's to you, Sumiti.
Thank you so much, Isha. Do you want me to share my screen right now?
Okay. Yes, please. Please share your screen.
Okay. Is it possible for you to do it? Because I really don't know how to do it.
Sure. No worries.
You know how I and technology are together?
No worries. Here we go.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you so much, VR Pistachio team, Aditi and Dipali, for giving me this opportunity. I'm extremely, extremely grateful for this, opportunity that you guys have given me. And thank you, Isha, for such a commendable work. You really have so much of patience in getting things organized and making the event happen. I'm extremely grateful for your efforts. And I thank each one of you who's present here today. Thank you for giving me the one of the precious hours of your life, because you're actually giving it to me because you probably believe in me and trust in me that maybe you have something to learn and something to teach me along this journey. And I'm extremely grateful for that. And I hope that it is all worth it for you. And I'd have no words of that showing my gratitude towards each one of you. Thank you all. Yes. Let's start with the art of forgiving and letting go, something that I've been hearing that you all are looking forward for, and even me, because it's not something that I'm teaching or I'm conducting, but it's just a journey that each one of us is here to learn and grow together. So let's move on. Isha, can you move on to the next slide, please? Thank you. Yeah, so forgiveness is a word, as a topic, if I talk about, is perhaps the most discussed and most talked about when it comes to a daily conversation. And especially when you're supposed to give advice to other people, if somebody calls you, that, oh, I have had a fight with my boss, or I've had a fight with my mother-in-law, and you are there just telling them, oh, let go, just forget about it, you ignore it, just move on, don't worry about it. So by giving advice to others, it's perhaps the most important advice that we give to everyone. But when it comes to, forgiveness as a practice, we all, I think it is the most understated and the least applied in our lives. It is so much misunderstood as to what is forgiveness. Now, there is no denying the fact, that someone or the other at some point in our life have hurt us or harmed us. However, there's no denying to the fact that we also have, we are also responsible, or we are also the reason behind hurting or harming someone at some point in our lives. Now, either intentionally or unintentionally, that does not matter, but we have also been the ones to do that. The other day, I was watching America's Got Talent, and one of my favorite shows. And I think you should just all go and see that because it really inspires me. The stories of people behind their making, it's so inspirational. But I was watching that, and mostly anybody who used to come up on the stage, they always said, that I was bullied by in school, or I was bullied by my co-workers, or I was bullied by my friends. And by the end of it, one day I was thinking that if everybody was bullied, who was the actual bully? Have you ever seen that anybody comes on stage in America's Got Talent or anywhere else in front of anyone and says that I was that bully? Are you looking for me? Nobody would ever say that, right? Because we always tend to hide behind, behind the reasons what others are presenting in front of us. We always, just act as if we are the victims of our, of our life. Some people have been harming us and we are the only ones who suffer, and we are not the ones who basically may be the reason for harming or hurting others. So that's something which we really need to look into. If we, just remember one thing, that whatever has been done whosoever has harmed you, whosoever has hurt you, it's all in the past. But what is important is that what are we doing about it now? Can we change the past? No. But we just do not, why we all are here today? Because we do not want to carry further any of that lower emotion with us going forward, and not even bringing it in our present. And that takes a lot of courage. And for that courage, I really salute the divinity within you all, because others are making a choice during this time for doing various things, and power to them. But you have taken out that time, or that 1 hour of your life to basically have an intention of letting go and forgiving, and that requires a lot of courage. Thank you so much for that once again. So as Alexander Pope says so clearly, that, and very, very beautifully, that to err is human. Of course, we are human. We have made mistakes, and we would be making mistakes going further as well. But to forgive is divine. And forgiveness does not mean forgiving just others for what they have done for us, whatever wrong they have done with us. But forgiveness also means forgiving yourself for all the things that you might have done, or for all the choices that you have made. If somebody has hurt you, then that means you have given them the power to hurt you. You have those expectations, and those expectations were shattered by somebody else. So you are giving the power and charge of your life, of your happiness, to somebody else. So that's a choice that you are making. And forgiving yourself for that is also the real forgiveness. So I would say that forgiveness is not just about others. It's about yourself. Letting go and releasing all those emotions that you have been holding for such a long time. Because now you feel that, no, I do not want to move further on this journey of pain, of hurt, of anger, of resentment, of grievances, of all these lower emotions that we're talking about, even jealousy, even hatred. We do not want to take that further, because it does not help. It's not worth it. It's affecting in you in every way possible, in your physical body, in your emotions, in your mental state, in your relationships, in your job, in the abundance that you are having, because you're not able to enjoy your life, and you're giving that power to others to rule your life. So forgiveness is all about courage. Isha, you can move to the next slide, please. Thank you so much. It's all about courage. Okay, how many of you, okay, here, nobody is judging you, so just be very candid. Now, for some people, forgiveness means ignoring, after some time of getting hurt and getting into that conflict, you really feel, oh, this person is like that only, so let me just ignore, and you become immune to that person's talks. For example, the best example would be a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. After a continuous criticism affair, or just trying to pull each other down, trying to demean each other, trying to hurt each other, you become immune. Oh, my mother-in-law is like that only. Oh, my daughter-in-law is also like that only. So you start, for you think that you're forgiving. For you, forgiveness becomes ignore and become immune. I'm sure if the daughter-in-law and mother-in-law do not become immune after some time, the son definitely becomes immune, to the conversation that the father-in-law, the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law would do to them. So that is one part, one aspect that we confuse with forgiveness. Now, the second thing, for some people, forgiveness would mean, holding on to those emotions and just, maybe crying a lot, maybe thinking about it a lot. And then as and when you move on, the time, as and when the person is out of sight, out of mind, or the time heals it, and you just forget about it. You haven't forgiven, if you think. You've just forgotten about it. And you're actually speaking, you haven't even forgotten about it. You just are so, so the things are so much precious for you that you have stored them very, very deep within you in probably the most, the darkest and the safest compartment within you, and you've locked it. And the moment the memory comes out, moment the person comes again in your life, or the moment similar thing happens in your life, or somebody asks you about that incident, you start living that experience again, which is as fresh as it was for 10 years back or 15 years back. How many of you are able to associate with this or with the previous one? Yeah, Isha, others? Come on, be truthful. And you try to forget. I can't see everybody on screen, but, and that is another aspect of forgiveness. The third aspect can be that you break, you tell the other person with your logical mind that I am right and you are wrong. You will put A, B, C, D, all the points towards that person and make the person feel guilty or make the person feel bad, and make that person apologize and then say, oh, I don't care about your sorry, it's fine, I was just trying to put my point across. So because your ego tells you that you are right and that the other person is wrong. So for some people, forgiveness comes from that aspect. How many of you have that experience? How many of you? Come on, everybody, nobody is judging you. Yes, right, yes. So we all are like that. Not maybe, we might not be using that one technique every single time. Maybe we are using it for, different techniques for different people or for different situations. But for us, forgiveness is all about putting ourselves right and proving ourselves right and standing in our ego that, I am right and the other person is wrong. And when our ego is very, very strong, it might even really, lead to breaking up relationships. For some people, forgiveness is that I do not want to, have a relationship with this person anymore. And that is how I'm going to be having peace of mind and, my happiness. So that is also forgiveness for some people. Now, if one or the other, all of them are applicable to all of you, just to bring that news, just to break that news, that this is nothing related to forgiveness, nothing at all. Because forgiveness comes from a very, very, very high state of consciousness, very, very high state of awareness. It comes from courage, the first most important thing that I feel. Because courage, because you do not see just your perspective. You see the entire perspective. You see from the point of view of the other person as well. And you do not let yourself get dance to the tunes of your ego, or just get seduced by your ego, because the ego is our mind is extremely, extremely subtle, but very, very seducible and very seductive. It gives you a kick. It gives you a kick that you are right and you should be you're righteous and you're going to be in that state and let the other person do whatever they want to, and even if it is at the cost of breaking relationships. So forgiveness is that courage that you do not get into that seduction of your own ego. Because the moment anything happens in our lives, the mind starts playing a story, and we tend to get stuck in that story. And courage is that you do not get into that, you do not get stuck into that story that your mind is playing, that your ego is playing, and you're able to see a higher perspective. Because as I mentioned, in the question answer section with Isha, that right and wrong are very, very relative, and they are, what is right for me might not be right for the other person, and what is wrong for me might not be wrong for the other person. So forgiveness comes from that understanding that we both can be right in our own way, and we need to understand the perspective of the other person. That is forgiveness. And the second aspect of forgiveness is acceptance. Accepting everybody in our life the way they are, accepting every incident, every experience in our life the way it is. Because trust me, each one of us, everybody on earth is here to either learn something from people around us, or we need to teach something, we need to give something and take something. Now, if you talk about the surface, the 3D terms, if I talk about it, it appears to be a give and take relationship. But if you talk from the very, very higher perspective, this give and take relationship is all about learning and teaching, nothing else. So, accept that whatever the other person is showing you, that is within you, and you need to release that thing out. Now, let me share an example, my own experience here. I come from a middle class family. I won't say that we were poor, but my parents had to really, struggle to make the ends meet. Forget about luxuries. We never thought about luxuries, but they really had to work. They had no other support. So they had to be responsible for, for providing for their family. Now, I thought that, I had no wants like the other children. And I can actually, I don't need, probably that opportunity of going and watching a movie or buying a branded bag or, wearing good clothes. I thought that I don't have that urge or desire. But actually speaking, I did have. It was just suppressed and locked in that compartment and completely forgotten about. But the moment I came to US, I had a husband who was supporting and was doing very well. I had US, as an abundant country, offering anything and everything. You talk about a ketchup, and there are about 10 varieties of ketchup. So there's so much of abundance that US had to offer. I had a proper environment which probably could give me so much of abundance. So when I came into that abundant environment, whatever was inside of me just came out, and it came out with a vengeance, with a bang. And I started shopping like crazy, as if I have never lived my life before. Because if you talk about a pendulum, you hold on to that pendulum, at one side, and you think that you would not bounce it, go to the other side. But the moment you leave the pendulum, it comes with a very stronger push, and it goes even higher, and it oscillates even faster. So you think that you have everything outside is responsible for your happiness or for your sadness, but it is everything within you, and the other person is just showing you the mirror. They are the mirror projections of what you have within you. So if the other person is pushing your button, if they're saying, if they're presenting before you certain experiences that make you get angry, then think about it. Thank that person. Accept that person, because that person is able to let you know that, oh, Sumiti, you have a lot of anger within you. Just let go. It is a blessing if the other person is bringing about that hurt from you, because you exactly know what is there within you, which you might have not known otherwise. It is said, right? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. It is for a reason, because they're showing you exactly what you have within you that is not for your good, and you're not a trash can. So just take it out and let go. Accepting everybody the way they are meant to be in your life, accepting every experience that is unfolding in your life, letting life be a teacher for you. And experience, every experience that is showing up, you're learning from it. If you have that acceptance, forgiveness is such a small drop in the ocean. It is so easy for you to forgive. But that acceptance, that understanding of the higher perspective has to be there. So it is a very high state of consciousness when I'm talking about forgiveness. Forgiveness comes from compassion for the other person. Because when we have, when you have an interaction with the other souls, we all are here to learn and grow. And you are also responsible for teaching the other person something. And they also have their own stories that the mind is playing. So you have compassion for the other person. And believe it or not, whatever you have inside, you're also projecting outside. So the other person has the same thing to release and let go. So you feel that pain for the other person, not pain, I would say the love for the other person, that, oh my God, that person is also going through something of their own. And they are able to give whatever they are able to give. You are more compassionate that the other person is ignorant. It is said, right, in the Bible, Lord, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. I mean, I'm not able to phrase it properly, but this is what exactly is written in the Bible. Why? Because people don't know exactly why they are harming others or why they are hurting others. Deep down, we all yearn for peace and love. Then how is it that we are hurting others? Because we really don't know how and why we are hurting them, or what is our soul contract with the other person, or what the other person has a soul contract with us. What are our life lessons? So when you understand that that the other person is just this, it comes from the understanding of oneness and connectedness, that you understand that everybody, the person who is trying to hurt you also, is coming from the same energy as you. You have the same part of divinity as they do, and they are just letting you grow in your journey, in your life, because you cannot learn by yourself. You need experiences and you need people around you, and they are the ones who are giving you that experience. So instead of being hurt, or instead of being angry or having that hatred towards them, be grateful to what they are doing. They are playing their part. As Shakespeare says, all the world's a stage and all men are playing their part. Similarly, everybody is playing their story. They are playing their part. They are there to learn and grow. So forgiveness comes from that aspect of oneness and connectedness. There is no they and I. There's no, you and me. It's all that we are both together, same, not separate. So forgiveness will occur. So if you have that consciousness that the other person is a part like me, is my part, is a part of the same energy, you will never try to hurt the other person, because you will never try to hurt yourself. That is the consciousness I'm talking about. That's the awareness that we're talking about. So forgiveness is not about proving yourself right or wrong. Forgiveness is about telling yourself that you are the same energy as the other person, accepting everybody the way they are, being courageous enough to not dance to the drama of the Maya or the illusion of your own ego. It comes from the state of love, because love is that cohesive power that binds each one of us. So love for the other person, yes, of course, but majorly love for yourself. Because until unless you don't love yourself, you cannot give that love to the other person. And forgiveness is all about you, because you do not want to consider yourself so minuscule, so small, that you will harm yourself by holding on to that vengeance and anger and hatred for somebody who has done something in the past with you. You do not want to waste that, your valuable life, your present, for something which happened in the past. You do not want to be a trash can of holding on to those, the junk and the trash of the other person. You don't want that. You're too valuable for it. You're so lovable. How can the child of God, or of creation, be such a small identity or a personality, whom anybody or everybody can demean? You should not feel that way. You're very, at least, forget about anybody on this planet out here. Look into yourself. You look at yourself in the mirror, and you should be in love with that person. Once you love yourself, everybody will love you. If you do not value yourself, how can you expect somebody else to value you? So that's all about forgiveness. It is coming from a very high state of consciousness, and a very high state of vibration, and a very high state of understanding. And now we're going to be talking about further, as to what is the importance of forgiveness. Isha, can you talk about? Yeah, thank you. Of course, we have all gone into that, importance of, what is forgiveness, but what is the importance of forgiveness? Now, beyond, if we just, before that, I just want to probably talk to you about one of the very beautiful, experiences that I had. I was going through Bhagavad Gita the other day, and I was listening to one of the gurus who was talking about Bhagavad Gita. Of course, the entire, every chapter, every video of that Bhagavad Gita was so profound and so beautiful. But one of them is definitely related to this topic, and I thought I'll bring it over here. We all, whichever religion we are coming from, I'm sure we are coming from so many backgrounds and across the globe, whichever religion we follow, whichever culture we follow, whatever belief system we have, I'm sure you all have heard about Lord Krishna, right? Now, Lord Krishna had a maternal uncle by the name of Kans. The prophecy was that Kans was supposed to die in the hands of Krishna. Lord Krishna was responsible for killing his maternal uncle Kans. Now, because this prophecy was there, Kans was very determined that he would kill Krishna before he could kill Kans. So all his actions, all his words, all his thoughts, everything that he used to do was revolving around killing and harming and hurting Krishna. If he used to sleep, he used to see Krishna. If he used to eat, he used to see Krishna. Everything was about Krishna. So basically, Kans had given the power, the charge of his life to someone he did not like, someone who he did not want to be alive. And that's what we do, don't we? We give our happiness, we give the power of our life, the charge of our life to someone whom we do not like. And the more we do not like that person, the more we think about that person, the more our actions are revolving around that person. Now, doesn't it happen with you guys? At least it happens with me. If someone says, if somebody says something wrong to me, I might not be able to answer correctly at that point of time, or my ego was not able to probably prove my point right at that time. So then I will think about that situation again and again and again and again. And my mind will start putting in so many options that I could have said. And I would think, I should have said this, I should have done that. Why did I let that person say that to me? And not just that, my ego will also decide upon my future events, my future actions. Oh, next time I'll see that person, I'm going to be, not be quiet. I'm going to be answering back to that person. Or next time when I meet that person, I'm going to be ignoring that person completely. he's not important at all for me. But that person is important because you are giving maximum of your thoughts, your energy, your actions, your words to that person. How important you have made that person in your life. You have treated that person as God, because all you can think about your life, all that you have been planning in your life, is according to that person. Now there is I was talking to Ekta before this entire session got live, that there's this book, right? The top 5 regrets of the dying, by I think Bronnie Ware. I'm not sure of the author's name correctly. If I'm not pronouncing it, I'm so sorry, but I'll let you know about that. So there's this author who has written the book by the name of Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, where she interviews these people in the hospital who are on their deathbed and asks them, for the regrets that they have. And each one of them said one thing unanimously, that the regret that why did they give the power or the charge of their lives to others. They wished that they would have lived their lives as per their own terms rather than what others wanted them to live. That's a beautiful regret that people had. But tell me something. If you know that this regret is going to be happening at the time of your death, why not start it now? Why not forget about this regret now and work towards making your life beautiful and living your life as per you, as per your own terms? Don't forget, you've come on your own, you'll go on your own. Then why is it that you're giving the charge of your life to somebody else? You deserve all the happiness, all the peace, all the joy and bliss in your life. Then why is it that it depends on what the other person does for you and says to you? It should not be affected. They're just playing their own role, trust me. Nothing else. Right? So of course, when we talk about the importance of forgiveness, we have a lot of things like, you live your life of joy, you live your life of love, you are stress-free, you have a peaceful life. But one very, very important aspect of forgiveness would be that, so what happens is, you and I, if are having that relationship with each other, and you're holding, we both are holding on to one end of the rope. Sometimes you are pulling me, sometimes I am pulling you. We are making sure that we do not leave that tug of war happening between you and me. If that's what is happening, and one of the person, be it you, because you can have control of your life, you can take charge of your life, and you can take charge of your own choices, and you can make decisions of your own life. If you leave that tug of war, if you leave that rope, or if you cut that rope, what happens? You break from the karmic cycle. You break from that give and take of learning and giving with that soul, because you have learned your lesson. And once you have learned your lesson, why will the other person come and make you learn that same thing? You've already learned it. That person, that soul's work is done. If you have learned that lesson, then that person either has to go away from your life, or will start a life with you with a new soul contract. And it won't be based on karma, it will be based on dharma. Because you're done with the give and take process. You've left that rope. And whatever the action of that person would be next, you will stay unaffected. However, I'll tell you one more very important thing, that if you are forgiving and you're leaving that rope, it does not mean that the other person will not be impacted or affected from the consequences of what actions that person has taken to harm or hurt you or anybody else. It only means that you will not be a party to it. You will not be in that drama of karma with that person. That person is not going to be able to get out or of the consequences of his actions, of her actions. But since you chose that, no, I do not want to be a part of this, you will be out of it completely. And if you're lucky, like what every people think about, that I wish she apologizes to me, or I wish something wrong happens to that person, I wish somebody else teaches the other person the same lesson. If you are lucky, you'll be able to see that karmic impact on that person. But I wish I do not see anybody's, because I do not want to be a part of what happens in the karmic cycle of the other person. I'm more interested in my life, and I do not want to be seeing the drama happening of karma, or the maya, or the illusion of anybody else. I just want to be happy with whatever I am supposed to do in my life. Are we understanding this little bit? That when we leave the rope of tug of war, of pulling and pushing each other, we are out of that karmic cycle. We break through from the karmic cycle. And that's one of the most important advantages of doing forgiveness. All right. Next, let's move on. Yes. Of course, enough of talking as to what is forgiveness and what is the importance of forgiveness. I know I talk a lot, but now let's just get into the real business, the aspect of applying forgiveness. How do we practice forgiveness? Now, there are certain techniques, and I've just brought in 2 of them because I did not know how much of time we will have. But these are the 2 techniques that are extremely easy, very, very simple, but very, very profound. And these are the techniques. So if you go to, for one issue, for one problem, there are millions of solutions. If you go to an Ayurvedic doctor, the Ayurvedic doctor will give you the Ayurvedic solution. If you go to a homeopathic doctor, the homeopathy doctor will give you the homeopathy solutions. If you go to a doctor who's, to somebody, a psychiatrist will give you solutions based on what he or she has. So if you've come to me that, Sumiti, what worked for you for forgiveness, then I'm here sharing with you the techniques that worked for me. Some of you don't even know me before I came into the spiritual life, and some of you do know me, from my past. And my life has shifted 360 degrees after doing these techniques, after forgiving everybody who came in my life who was supposed to teach me a lesson, and just I did not have good interactions for learning my lessons. And most importantly, the way I have forgiven myself for all the mistakes I've done, for all the choices I've made wrong, and not being harsh on myself, my life has completely shifted. And I'm completely a different person altogether by doing these techniques. And I guarantee you, I give you in writing that if you do these techniques with your real intention and with a lot of discipline and perseverance, I am sitting here, you can actually catch hold of me and come to me and tell me that, no, it's not working, Sumiti, because this will work. It will just not bring about the changes, in what you call, in your environment, in your relationships, in your job, in your financial abundance, because you just broke free. You were like, I do not want to be in that shackles of or chains of karmic cycle, or I don't want to be holding on to, or just being bothered, or putting my focus on only the lower emotions that I have, or people whom I do not like. But when you'll start seeing the beauty of everything around you, when you'll start having changes in your own thought pattern, you will be able to see a difference in your entire environment, your entire life. And people will come and tell you, there's a change within you. You are a very different person. You are very, very strong, and I love to be around you. You'll start attracting people who will trust you, because this is what you have, you have worked on yourself. You've raised your vibration, you've raised your consciousness. because you cannot bring a change in the other person. If you would have, if you could have, you would have. You would have fixed it by now, because we all think about it. I wish that, that I can bring about a change in that person. So if you really could have brought a change in that person, you would have done by now. That is not a possibility. And when people say, I want to change the whole world, are you kidding me? You know how many people are there? There are billions and billions of people, billions and billions of choices that they make. You cannot make the change in the whole world, but the only person you can make a change with in the entire world is you. You have come here for you, as a project. It's you who's supposed to grow and learn and change. And when you change, there's a ripple effect around you. Because you change, people around you change. You bring that change in them. And that's how you change the world, dear. Not by changing the whole world as per your terms, as per how you want them to be. That is completely conditional. You cannot make that happen. So forgiveness comes from being unconditional, not having any kind of conditions attached. That if this is the environment that I'll get, I'll be more calm. Or if this is the person who goes out from my life, I'll be okay. No, it's you. You need to bring about that change within you. And once you do that, people and experiences that do not match your frequency or do not match your consciousness, they will move out of your life peacefully. Okay, can we ask others to mute, please? Because I'm not sure whether they'll be able to hear me. Okay. So are you ready for doing the techniques? Can I see each one of you switching on your cameras? Because then I'll be able to see whether you're doing the technique properly or not. Are we ready to let go and release that we keep talking about and forgive people and just make our life full of love, bliss, and joy? Ready? Thumbs up. Awesome. All right. So now just close your eyes and I'll make you do some technique. Just close your eyes, okay? And take a couple of breaths. Forget about all your activities or thoughts. Dinner can wait. The TV program that you're missing can wait. Just leave all your thoughts. Close your eyes and center yourself. Now visualize the person in front of you whom you don't like or you want to forgive. Just visualize that person as clearly as possible in front of you. Just see that person smiling in front of you. It's hard, but not impossible. Now visualize a bouquet of flowers in your hand. Can be a bunch of roses, lavender, any beautiful flowers in your hand. And now lay those flowers on his or her feet. Join your hands in a prayer position and say to that person mentally, "Dear one, thank you for all the lessons You are a child of God, and so am I. I'm so grateful for you to fulfill your soul contract with me. And I salute the divinity within you. I forgive you, and I ask for forgiveness. With heartfelt respect, warmest love, and deepest gratitude. And be in that state. Be in that state of love, acceptance, courage, compassion, and forgiveness. Open your eyes whenever ready.
You can't go anywhere. The maximum she can go is to Ohio.
That's what you think.
Did you feel anything, anyone? For some of you, it might be very difficult to forgive the other person because, the kind of intensity the person would have hurt you with, only you know it. But don't expect, that you don't expect that when you go to the gym and the first day and you do all the whole entire year exercise on a single day. And then it's like, I'm done with my exercise quota. It doesn't happen that way. It happens with gradual steps that you take with discipline and perseverance. So don't be afraid to do this technique again and again and again if required. Because at one stage, you will be able to forgive the other person. Even if you started artificially, you will be able to actually let go of that person completely. This is one of the most powerful techniques. Very easy, very simple. And how much time does it take? 2 minutes? 2 minutes in a day? I can be actually very, very fancy in all those techniques. And I can give you very difficult ones and say, oh my God, Ekta, Mohan, you need to sit for hours and, be in that state of quietness, and there should be nobody around you, and sit with an altar and do all these rituals. And then you'll be able to forgive the person after a year. Do you think you will be able to carry those techniques? Because you'll do it once, you'll do it twice, you'll do it 3 times. But then the 4th time, the practical life will kick in and you will hide behind, oh my God, I don't get time to do that. Forgiveness is not difficult, people, because forgiveness is from love. And love is our core essence, is the essence of our soul. How difficult is it to love somebody? Nothing at all. Just remove the knowledge, not the knowledge, the game, the tricks the mind is playing, to stop that forgiveness for you and making it very tough for you. So this is one technique which was given by Sri M. I don't know how many of you know him, but Sri M is one of the spiritual teachers, and he is the founder of the Satsang Foundation. Extremely simple. So either you experience, you learn from the experiences of others, or you experience it on your own. That is wisdom, right? If you talk about a child, and you tell a child, do not touch the cup of tea because it's hot. So it's a choice of the child. The child wants to learn from, okay, be completely learning from your experience because you've told him he will not touch it, and that yes, the tea is going to be hot, or the child will just go and touch the cup of tea and learn from his or her own experience. So these are the techniques that somebody else has practiced. So give it a try. Before saying that, no, this might not work for me, go and give it a try. I'm guaranteeing you that these simple techniques are going to make your life so simple. So tell me something. If we keep on saying this, that spirituality or being spiritual is our natural self, then how can the journey back to realizing that we are spiritual and the journey of unlearning, which is not spiritual, which is not love, be very difficult for us? It cannot be difficult for us. It has to be easy, because we are made of that spiritual nature. Then how can we, how can the spiritual techniques be very, very difficult for us? Gone are the days, when you sit under a guru and you realize, oh, you are the chosen one, and you meditate under a guru, and you meditate for years and hours, and then you get initiated. Gone are those days. Because being spiritual does not mean that you need to meditate for hours, but being spiritual means that you need to bring about that essence, your true essence, your soul's essence, your love essence in everything that you do. Whosoever you come in contact with, you're just able to bring out your true self, your love part, and give it to them and share it with them. So this one of this technique is, Isha, would you be able to move further the slide? Where is bouquet of roses given to us by Sri M, and he's a great spiritual teacher. So try doing this, and you can use your own words. You can talk to that person whom you want to visualize. Speak out, that okay, you've been hurt, but you forgive that person. Because remember, hate begets hate. Anger begets anger. And that is how we are stuck in the karmic cycle. The moment you win, your negativity over positivity, through positivity, when you win, hate with love, that's when you break the karmic cycle. If the other person has hurt you and you give a smile to the other person and you give love, whatever you have within you, your love to the other person, you just break that cycle. And that is very, very important for us, to break all the karmic cycles, be free, be light, and just merge into our oneness, merge into that spirit. That's the purpose of every soul on earth, right? Next, let's move on to the next, my favorite technique. Some of you have already practiced them with me. But this is the technique which is given by Master Ray Chandran, who's a spiritual teacher again. For me, I do not have a particular teacher. For me, all of you and everybody in my life who comes and has an experience with me is my teacher, because I'm learning from them, and I might be able to teach them something. But there are certain techniques that I pick up from these people who have really experienced and who are really, really in tune with their soul purpose. And that's why I'm bringing those techniques in front of you. So there's no particular teacher that I follow. I follow my own inner guidance, my own inner teacher. And you all can be your own teachers by just following your heart, following your essence of love. So this is one of the techniques that is given by Master Ray Chandran, who's again a spiritual teacher and who's a healer, and he's the author of about, I think, 14 books. And he's also somebody who gives very easy techniques that are extremely practical for each one of us. Okay, let's talk about cord cutting. Now, what do you mean by cords? So what happens is that when anybody comes in your contact, or you think about someone, you form an energetic contact with that energetic cord with that person. And that cord can be formed with any of your organs or any of your chakras. And the more energy you give to that thought or energy that you give to that person, you are creating those cords thicker and thicker. You're making them thicker and thicker, because you're feeding that energy into it. Energy goes where your intention flows, right? Uh, what am I saying? Energy flows where your intention goes. So, if you're thinking about a person, you're actually creating that cord much more stronger. Now, some of the cords are not of love, and they are very, very toxic. Of course, with the person whom we do not like, the cords are never healthy. They're never out of love. So we need to cut these cords, and they're extremely important to be cut. Now, I have seen people, let me share one story out here. There was this woman who, whose entire family had cut relationships with her. They were not in touch with her at all. And she was not, she did not know where her son was and where her husband was and where any of her family members, because she was just completely boycotted by the entire family. She was doing this technique of cutting the cords because she was really hurt, right? So she was cutting this cord, she was doing this cord cutting technique, and very, very diligently, very, very, with a lot of intention. Now, after 3 months, the son and the father contacted her and asked her, where is she? How is she doing? They remember her and they want her back in their life. So that's the kind of miracle that happened, because she was cutting those cords, the karmic cords that were there, that were holding her back to have a life which was so full of, whatever she wanted in her life. And that completely got cut, and things just started, there was a reconciliation between the family and her. So this technique is extremely powerful, and this is like a spiritual bath. Like the way you take a physical bath every day, I would really suggest that you do it every single day. And it takes about just 2 minutes of cutting the cord with the person. Now, always remember that the cords of love can never be severed, can never be cut. Because as I mentioned, that the essence of our soul is pure love. It binds us. It can never break us. So when you are cutting the cords with anybody, and I do it even with my husband and my daughter, the ones who are very close to me, because once you cut these cords, because we all, people who are close to us, they hurt us more because we have expectations, right? And what happens is the real love between those people and us becomes very, very shady, because it gets totally layered by those expectations that are not met, or how we want them to be, in front of everybody. So when you cut these cords, you're breaking those karmic cords only, and the love beneath that relationship is becoming even more stronger. So your relationship becomes even more stronger with that person. So that's what we're going to be doing with cord cutting. But there's another aspect attached to it, which is soul fragmentation and soul integration. As I think I've mentioned this before, that the essence again of the soul is pure love. But when a soul comes in contact with any of the fear energy or the anger energy or any lower emotions or anything which is hurtful, traumatic, it does not understand that language because it is full of love. So what happens is a part of that soul gets fragmented into that time. And it's not just with one experience that happens in our life. It can happen, it happens on and off again in one single day. I don't know how many times we hurt each other, or we are hurt by somebody, or certain things do not happen as per our expectations, and that's how how much of soul fragmentation we have on a particular day. Forget about, I'm not even counting your entire childhood time or your previous lifetimes, because so much of soul fragmentation has happened with us, and our soul gets completely fragmented, and it doesn't know its true essence because it is forgotten about it. So what is important for us is, after cutting the cord with the person who has hurt us, we bring back our soul fragments. We integrate a part of our soul within us that was lost because of the relationship with that person. So we are basically making our soul much more stronger and much more complete. That's how we bring about a change within us. And that's how everything around us changes as well. So let's try this cord cutting technique. Now there are two ways to do it. I'm in a call. I'm sorry, my daughter just came. Yeah. So there are two ways to do it. Either we do it with the help of Archangel Michael, and who's the leader of all the angels, and who's probably the most popular angel, and who is, you know, this very handsome angel. He's very, very handsome. I just can't describe how handsome he is. And he's very popular and very brave and strong and powerful, and his main role is to protect us and to give us courage and protect us from all the negativities. So either you take his help, but for people who do not believe in angels and do not want to work with the angels, because, you know, of course, there are XYZ reasons for it. And if you do not believe in them, then there's another way to do that. And how do you do that? So just close your eyes. We'll first do the technique without the angels, okay? Just close your eyes. Again, just center yourself. Now visualize the cord that is forming with you and the person whom you do not like or you want to forgive. This cord might be forming with any of your organs or with any of your chakras. Just let your intuition work. See that cord being formed with that person. Now take your hand and consider it as a sharp knife. Bring it in front of you and chop and cut that cord 3 times with an intention that it has been completely cut. Now, since we have cut that cord, there is a hole or a tear in that area, which we need to fill with love. So now bring your hand again, palm facing that area, and move it clockwise, that part of your body, Isha facing yourself. Yeah. And go in a circular direction with an intention that it's being filled with love. It's completely healed. And it's looking beautiful. People who do not know how to visualize or do not trust their visualization, just repeat these words. Repeat these words with a lot of intention. And open your eyes whenever ready. So that's one way of cutting your cords. But then out here, you will have to keep scanning yourself that where all the cords have been formed with that person. And you will have to use your own mind and your own ego to identify which part of your body has been affected with a cord with the other person. However, if you take the help of these angels who see from a higher perspective, because you're surrendering to them. The God, when you ask for their protection and when you ask for their help, all the cords cut, and you do not need to know where the cords have been formed or how much, with what intensity the cords have been formed, because they will do the work. So now an easier and a faster track of forgiveness is just close your eyes again and repeat after me. Close your eyes. Mentally affirm with pure intention. I call forth the mighty sword of Archangel Michael to cut all the unwanted, unauthorized, and karmic cords that have been formed between me and this person, whosoever you want to name, that are not of God, not of love, and not of light, and do not serve me anymore. Repeat it again. I call forth the mighty sword of Archangel Michael to cut all the unwanted, unauthorized, and karmic cords that have been formed between me and, name the person, that are not of God, not of love, not of light, and do not serve me anymore. Last time, I call forth the mighty sword of Archangel Michael to cut all the unwanted, unauthorized, and karmic cords that have been formed between me and, that are not of God, not of love, not of light, and do not serve me anymore. I'm ready to let go. I am ready to let go. I am ready to let go. Take a deep breath and see all these cords cutting. And open your eyes whenever ready. Did you feel anything? Felt lighter? Yeah. Have you seen Jab We Met? The
Yes.
easier technique of letting go people from your life? Burn the photograph of that person. Have you seen that? This is exactly what we are doing. We are freeing ourselves from the thought, from our emotions, from the karmic cycle with the other person. It is not affecting the other person, but it is affecting us for sure in a positive way. How easy it is to forgive. And do this every single day. So this is one aspect of this technique. Isha, can you move to the next slide? Can you move to the other one also? Because we've already talked about soul fragments. Now, after cord cutting, we are going to be doing the soul integration. And how do you do that? You do it with the help of a mudra, of a sound, and of just intention, pure intention. So what is that mudra? You take your right hand and you touch your thumb and the index finger. Oh, sorry, the first finger, right? Make that mudra. And now on your left palm, you place your ring that you formed with your thumb and your finger. And bring your hand posture on near your belly button. Can you see it on the screen? Can you see it on the PowerPoint? Just place it there, close your eyes and repeat after me. I call back all my soul fragments that I have lost during my relationship with this person. And I let go and release all the soul fragments that might have been attached to me and do not belong to me. Once more, I call back all my soul fragments which I may have lost during my relationship with this person. And I let go and release all the soul fragments that might have been attached to me and do not belong to me. Last time, I call back all my soul fragments that I may have lost during my relationship with this person. And I let go and release all the soul fragments that might have been attached to me and do not belong to me. Now 9 times with that mudra, say that word, Shu-he, 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 Shu-he. Take a deep breath and open your eyes when you're ready. This technique is very simple. Again and again, I'm mentioning, but I cannot emphasize on it enough that it is extremely profound. And experience it and do it, and you will see a lot of difference in your life. You will not be affected by anybody who has harmed you or hurt you. And do it every single day. Try doing it when you're taking a shower, because at that point of time, your body is wet and water, and 70% of your body is made of water. So when you are, and the water has consciousness, right? So when you are saying these words, you are integrating the essence of these words even more easily than usual. But don't just hide behind that excuse again. Oh, I forgot to do it under the shower, so I will not do it the whole day again. It is basically, there's nobody whom you're answerable to, that how much I did or how much I did not do it. It is only you, for you whom you're doing this, right? So just be truthful to yourself and how much you want it. It should be like, a drowning person, how much with so much of intensity that person wants to come out and gasp for air, right? That's the kind of intensity that you should be having for letting go and releasing people and emotions and experiences from your life that do not serve you at all. That's about it. The only thing that you need is pure intention, and you all being here means that you all have the intention of living the life that your soul yearns. And that's about it. I do not have more techniques to give today because of the fact that we are running out of time. But yes, we do have forgiveness meditation event that is conducted every 2 times in a year. So you can join us during that time. And there are lots and lots of workshops and webinars that we have where we give in such easy techniques, but they are very practical. We just do not talk about a topic. We actually tell you how to take charge of your life and how to work on yourself. So if you're really interested in bringing about that shift in your consciousness and vibration, do visit for all the events that are happening in at Life Spirit Soul. And you can even contact me on my number, which I think Isha will share on Zoom chat, whenever you want to contact me. I am always available for people who are ready to work on themselves, but only call me if you have the the urge to bring about a difference in your life, not otherwise. I'm not, there's so many people who call me and they do not work on themselves, and I do not entertain them anymore, because I can't change. I don't have the power to change or bring a change in your life or heal your life. But who has the power? You have it. And we just there with each other to guide each other, as to the support or that push that we need, or that motivation that we need to do certain things. And I have my own downfalls, and I have such a beautiful spiritual group that keeps on pushing me up. Okay, I also have bad days. I also have days when things don't seem to be right, and I forget about all that I talk about, because that's human. To err is human. But then bouncing back and then bringing your consciousness again, no, you should not be doing this, and this is what you should be looking at. That's what is growth, or that is how you change your life. And people around, when you're surrounded with such beautiful souls, who are there to help you out in your journey, you never feel alone. So you are never alone from now. You can always call me or anybody in the group, and we will never judge you, because everything that happens, it happens because of a reason, because of your own contracts, your own lessons. And nobody is here to create that judgment. Oh, you are like that, or you are like this. So just be free to call me up and look about for all the events that are coming up for Life Spirit Soul. And I really hope that you are able to carry forward these two techniques, and let me know your experiences. And I'm there all ears for you. In fact, if we have a question answer round going on, please do let me know your questions. I'll try my level best to answer to them, but start your forgiveness thing by forgiving me if I'm not able to answer any of your questions, because what I answer from my own experiences, and I still have a lot to experience. So please start your forgiveness by forgiving me. That's it, I would say. And this is a beautiful saying: to forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you. So just remember that forgiveness is not about others, it is about yourself, freeing yourself from the prisons of lower emotions. So the other that reminds me of another thing that I read on Facebook yesterday, that whatever happened in your past was meant for a lesson, not as a life sentence for you. It was not the end of your life. It was not supposed to be, that, oh, you cannot have anything beyond that. So just get free from that thought, or just free yourself from whatever happened in the past, so that you have a beautiful present and a wonderful future. Any questions, Isha? Shoot.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Sumiti. Thank you for taking us to the beautiful spiritual journey, and the session was really insightful. Thanks for teaching us the importance of the forgiveness, the significance of the higher state of consciousness, loving yourself, putting yourself first. If you change yourself first, then you can change the world. Thanks for reminding us that. We really, really appreciate your efforts, your guidance, and teaching us such a beautiful techniques to reset ourselves and ready to go to live our life with our soul earns, like you said. Thank you so much. Everyone, if you have any questions, do let us know. Do drop them into the chat box, or you can contact them to the with the email ID and the phone number that we have provided. I know we are a little bit over the time, but yeah, but that's okay. We didn't notice that. We completely enjoyed it. And I just want to let you know a little about our BRP Sculpture's upcoming event. Do we have any questions? Okay, let me just wait for questions. Okay. So our upcoming events are speed mentoring, which starts on September 23rd, and how to proactively land a job using LinkedIn. So these are our upcoming events, which are hosted and organized by VR Pistachio. Own Our Story is our service that VR Pistachio provide. Relocating spouses struggle very often to introduce themselves, and we are on the defensive. So Own Your Story provides you a powerful framework so that a relocating spouse can learn to learn their strengths and showcase their own unique journey. So these are the VR Pistachio host event like this. Data analytics pods, coffee and conversations, and career pods, and speed mentoring pods. Thank you so much. Stay in touch with VR Pistachio. These are our social media handles. Write to us, connect with us. With that, we'll end our session today. Thank you, Sumiti. Thank you for leading this wonderful session today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isha. Thanks. It was an honor to be here. And just to let everybody know that the session might have ended here, but you're free to contact me and message me and share your experiences and ask any questions, because we were not able to take any questions here. So just go ahead and feel free to do whatever your heart guides you to. And I'm there for you. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, Sumiti. Really.
Thank you, Aditi. Bye. Are we okay to sign off, or is there any question that anybody wants to ask?
So I do have one question. So does forgiveness guarantee the reconciliation?
That's a great question, Aditi. Sorry, Isha. Forgiveness leads to reconciliation. Oh my God. Okay. Now there was this. I'll share this, with one of the experiences that I've had. There was this woman who called me and said, Sumiti, I'm desperate to bring about a change in my life, and I'm ready to do whatever you want me to do, whichever technique you want me to do. So I will do all this forgiveness I'll do. But what I want that my husband, who is cheating on me, who's sleeping with the other women, should come back to me and apologize, and I'll be okay with the fact, and we'll go ahead with our lives as normally as possible. But you really need to make that happen. And I was like, I do not have the power for that, and neither do you, because what happens is people, all of us, if you see behind every action of yours, you would do anything and everything because it has a certain outcome, because that you have some benefit that you will receive from it, right? You every action, be it a selfless action, or be it any work that you do, any technique that you do, any spiritual work you do, you will definitely want to know why should we do it, right? And that's why probably we went through so many importances and discussing the benefits of forgiveness. We all are very, very busy, we are so busy doing TikTok, we are so busy doing Facebook and WhatsApp and Snapchat, and we are so busy fighting and gossiping and cribbing and crying for whatever happened in our life. We need reasons to do certain things, and especially forgiveness, and we need a reason to do that, right? So fair enough that you want to know why what benefit you will get from it. But the problem arises when you get very, very attached to the outcome, to how you start gauging the success of a technique, of a spiritual practice, or of anything in your life with how the desired outcome is going to be happening or not. If it's going to happen the way you wanted it, it's amazing, it's great. But if it does not happen that ways, then you feel, it was all useless. So the problem is that you get attached to what the outcome. And again, what happens is, here you are again starting with judgment. You are judging everything as per your own ego. Your mind is again playing tricks and telling you that this is how the outcome should be. So yes, the reconciliation happens. I have seen in a lot of cases that, the reconciliation happens, but that is not the only outcome that happens. Because what happens is, as I mentioned earlier, that two souls have a contract with each other. Now, one of them, if you do a forgiveness and you're cutting your karmic cords with that person, maybe that person is not meant to be with you anymore because you've already learned your lesson, and that person will move out of your life. But the other thing can be that that person realizes that mistake, and or changes completely towards you, and comes back to you in a different role or contract altogether, because now it is you're opening up the new soul contracts with that person. So how your soul journey will unfold, you also don't know. It will just happen for its higher perspective, because you need to let go of that thought process that how the outcome is going to happen. Because once you do that, you are diluting the importance of why you started doing forgiveness at the first place. Because again, you started forgiving others because you wanted to do it for your own peace, your own happiness. But again, when you ask for a desired outcome, you are losing that meaning completely. You're trying to bring about the change in the other person, which is not possible. The change needs to be brought within you, and that is why we are doing forgiveness. So if you expect an outcome, then the whole idea about your own happiness and your own peace and joy and bliss is completely lost, and it's completely gone. So according to me, do not expect how the solution is going to happen, whether the reconciliation is going to happen with the other person or not. Maybe it happens that the person just moves out of your life, or maybe that the person just becomes completely different and starts a different soul contract with you and becomes closer to you. And it can also happen that the person who moves out of your life meets you at some point of time with a different soul contract and a different dharmic relationship, not karma anymore. So it just let it unfold as per what is for a higher or a greatest good for each one of you. And that's about it. I feel that this is I've seen people who have come back. In fact, a lot of friends of mine who had completely left me and backstabbed me, they are coming back to me. But now there's a different respect for each other. There's nothing what we're not carrying forward whatever the relationship was in our past. And for some friends of mine who backstabbed, they're completely nowhere in the picture. I don't even come across them, and I'm not even affected, because the idea is that I am unaffected and I am at peace and I'm at that state of balance. Now, how does that happen? That I leave it to the universe, that I leave it to the creator, that I leave it to whatever my soul contract is. So the reconciliation, one guarantee I give you, the reconciliation definitely happens between you and your higher soul. Because whatever you were depriving your soul from, you are giving your soul that. You're giving your soul that peace and love and bliss and state of joy. But with the other person, it might depend on what your soul contract is and what is the highest out or the greatest good for you both involved. Yeah, that's a great question, Isha. I love you for that question. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful answer. Thank you, Sumiti. Do we have any questions from the attendees? Yes. I guess we are good, looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either
Thank you
everybody understood everything, or they did not understand anything, it was like, oh.
Yeah. If your question is actually, if you feel that there's a confidentiality that it has to be private, please text her. You can address to her personally as well. And I'm going to stop a recording so that if that is what coming into that, if that is the point, then I'm going to stop recording. Then you can, ask your question right away.
And Isha, I would not mind if you give the 2 slides to people who have joined today, because
Sure.
they might need the words and the technique details.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
you go ahead and you can even share the whole PowerPoint. That's
Sure.
nothing is mine. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Sumiti, we'll send the recording to everyone, and along with the slide deck, and we'll follow it up.
That
Isha,
would
we
be
can
great.
both.
Yes, definitely.
That would be great.
Start recording.
Yes.
All right. Nobody wants any questions.